I carefully slid the phone into my bag, heart racing, and walked back into the house where Daniel was laughing at some video on his other phone. When he looked up and smiled at me, I smiled back. Because that was the moment I knew I wasn't going to cry. I was going to burn everything down, piece by piece and calmly. I wasn't looking for secrets. I was looking for my charger. Daniel had driven my car the day before and left his jacket in the passenger seat. As I leaned in to grab it, something slid out from underneath, a black iPhone I didn't recognize. It wasn't his usual one. This one didn't have a case. It was slightly scratched, and most importantly, it wasn't locked. I wish I could say I hesitated, that I respected his privacy, but this wasn't about trust anymore. Not after the late nights. The quick shut screens, the scent of perfume that wasn't mine. The phone lit up as I tapped the screen. No password. And there it was. Last night was perfect. I can still feel you. Sent from my best friend's number. I stared at it numb. Another text followed. Does she suspect anything? I didn't cry. I didn't scream. My hands shook, but my mind went still. Crystal clear. He wasn't just cheating. He was cheating with her, the woman who sat across from me for Sunday brunches, who hugged me at my wedding, who once said, "I'd kill a man for hurting you." Now she was sleeping with him. I visited an apartment complex under a fake name and signed a lease in cash. Quietly moved clothes and essentials into storage. At home, I was the perfect wife. Warm meals, polite conversation, even planned our anniversary dinner. He thought he was winning, and I let him, right up until the night I dropped the match. I didn't say a word that night. I slid into bed beside him, watched him scroll through his real phone, and listened to him lie with silence. He reached for me like nothing was wrong. I let him, because rage wasn't power. Not yet. I needed patience. While he slept, I copied the data from the second. Phone, screenshots, contact, names, photos, voice messages, Venmo receipts, one labeled for the hotel. Everything went to a hidden folder on my laptop, locked behind a password he didn't know. In the morning, I made coffee like I always did, wore the robe he liked, kissed his cheek, and told him I'd be working late this week. A new client. He smiled. Proud of you. Disgust curled inside me, but I smiled back. I know. That week I saw a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. The best divorce attorney in the city. I handed over a file I named Daniel's Reality. She didn't blink. Do you want quiet or scorched earth? I didn't hesitate. I want both, in order. We started building the case. While Daniel was texting her, "I love your mind just as much as your body," I was transferring funds, changing beneficiaries, securing my name on everything I'd worked for. The venue was perfect. Candlelight. Live jazz. A private dining room with a long, polished table that could seat 20. I told Daniel I wanted an intimate celebration. He smiled, smug, thinking he'd won me over again. He wore the watch I gifted him on our second anniversary. I wore the same red dress he once said made me look dangerous. Fitting. Our guests arrived slowly. Friends, colleagues, a few of my own who Daniel never truly liked. And then came her, Talia, my best friend. Or at least the woman who wore the title like costume jewelry. She walked in wearing a white dress, bold. She even had the nerve to hug me. "You look stunning, RHEA." I smiled. "So do you." Like someone who doesn't know tonight's her funeral. She laughed like it was a joke. Daniel raised a toast halfway through dinner. "To my wife, the love of my life." Applause, smiles, champagne clinking. I stood slowly. "Thanks, everyone, really. But there's something I'd like to share, too." Daniel nodded. "Go ahead, babe." I picked up the remote on the table. A hidden projector behind us lit up the white wall, not with wedding photos or memories, but with screenshots. "I want you again. Last night wasn't enough. Your body is a drug. She's so stupid. She doesn't suspect a thing." Gasps filled the room. Talia's wine glass slipped and shattered. Daniel paled. "RHEA, what the hell is this?" I clicked again. Audio. Talia's voice, whispering, moaning, saying his name, then his voice. Telling her he was only staying married for appearances. The room was silent except for the recording. Every person stared at him, at her, then at me. "I filed for divorce 3 weeks ago," I said calmly. "Daniel, you'll be served in the morning." He stood. "Wait, let's talk." I raised a hand. "Sit down." "This part's just for you." A man in a gray suit stepped forward. "My lawyer, Daniel Harper. You've been removed from all shared accounts. Property rights, and business holdings initiated by RHEA Morgan. Any attempt to claim assets will be met with litigation. Talia was already crying. I looked at her once. You're not even worth the words. And with that, I left my own party. I didn't look back as I walked out of the restaurant. The night air hit different, clean, final. Behind me, I could hear Daniel's voice raised in disbelief, Talia's sobs turning shrill. But I was already in the waiting car. My driver, a friend of my lawyer's, didn't ask questions. We pulled up to my new condo, high-rise, minimal. Paid in full, I stepped in, kicked off my heels, and exhaled for what felt like the first time in years. Free, Daniel called 5 times that night. Left 2 voicemails, one angry, one pathetic. Talia texted a single line. You didn't have to humiliate me. I didn't respond. Let silence speak for me. In the weeks that followed, Daniel spiraled. My lawyer made sure the prenup I modified last year held strong. The judge sided with me. With evidence, with intent. With truth. He lost more than a marriage. His company cut ties. Didn't want a scandal. The shared house was sold. Proceeds? All mine. Talia? Her fiancé? Yes, she had one. Left her after finding out. She moved cities quietly. I didn't celebrate their downfall. I celebrated my peace. I rebuilt. Not just financially, emotionally. I launched my own design agency, hired women with stories like mine, gave them a space where betrayal wasn't the end, just the turning point. Months later, Daniel showed up at the gallery I hosted. He looked smaller. I just wanted to talk, he said. I tilted my head. You wanted to be heard. I did too. Back then, he lowered his eyes. I messed up, he whispered. I smiled, cold, calm. You didn't mess up. You made a choice. So did I. Then I turned and walked away. He never got another word. From realizing I was never paranoid, just aware. Never too emotional, just human. And never weak, just tired of being lied to. I built myself back piece by piece, stronger than before. Not to prove him wrong, but to prove myself right. That I was always enough. And as I locked away the last letter he'd ever send me, I whispered 2 words that held no anger, just truth. Never again.